Hey adventurers, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing our amazing trip to Niagara Falls, a destination that is perfect for any bucket list trip. But don't wait too long. Lots and lots of walking, so take full advantage of this incredible experience by going while you still have full mobility. It was just a weekend trip for us, so we crammed everything basically into a day, and we were able to maximize our time and hit all the highlights because we did some pre-research. This is not a good trip to wing it, folks. Not unless you have a week to figure it out as you go. Let's talk about how we made our quickie trip unforgettable, and I would highly recommend all of this to you as well. Our journey began at the Buffalo, New York airport. Flying into Buffalo and driving 30 minutes to Niagara Falls made more sense than flying into Toronto, Canada, because that is an almost 3-hour drive to the falls. However, we'd heard that the views were better on the Canadian side and decided to cross the border for sure. After landing, we took an Uber to Buffalo, New York's Anchor Bar, home of the original Buffalo chicken wing, for some wings and beer to kick off our adventure. This was a perfect way to start our trip. And after that, we took another Uber to the Rainbow Bridge, which connects New York and Canada. We walked across the bridge, breezed through Canadian customs, and arrived on the Canadian side. Turns out all the hype was right. I highly recommend the Canadian side for its stunning views of the Horseshoe Falls. Just make sure you pack light because it's a hike from New York customs. I also want to mention that walking across the bridge both ways was faster than driving, believe it or not. Traffic was at an absolute standstill both ways on the auto side of the bridge. That's the downside. On the other hand, it's a nightmare to find an Uber on the Canadian side. So if you are not prepared to walk everywhere, a rental car is a valuable asset. If you need a car, just plan on the wait as being part of the experience. Maybe just have a fun audiobook or something so it's time well spent. Know that your time in the Canadian Niagara Falls area is not going to be hard walking. It's just going to be a lot of walking. But there are plenty of sidewalks and flat terrain, so no worries. We booked the Embassy Suites with a waterfront view of the falls. It's at the top of the incline railway, which is an inexpensive way to access Table Rock Visitor Center below and the hotels above. If you haven't heard of it, trust me, you will be all too familiar with Table Rock Visitor Center by the end of your Canadian trip. It's the staging area for most of their activities, including Journey Behind the Falls. But more on that later. That first night, we enjoyed appetizers at our hotel restaurant overlooking the falls, and oh my gosh, the fireworks were the perfect ending to a long travel day. We woke up bright and early the next day and were revved up for a very full day. Here's what we did. We began our day with a breakfast at the nearby IHOP Tower, which boasts panoramic views of Niagara Falls. $35 for an omelet, so very pricey, but very worth it for the views and the photo opportunities. Next up, Journey Behind the Falls was incredible because you literally go behind the scenes of the Horseshoe Falls. Get ready to experience Mother Nature in all her roaring glory. It's a lot of walking, but totally worth it. The history behind the falls is fascinating, and you will leave with pure respect for the raw and incredible power of water. They give you a plastic poncho, but you should still plan on getting a little windblown and a little soaked. We had lunch at Table Rock Welcome Center overlooking the falls and even saw a full rainbow, one of the most magical moments of our trip. And don't miss out on the SKYLON TOWER for stunning 360-degree views of the falls and the entire area, especially if you love getting lots of videos and photography like me. This is your A game. If we had more time, I would have wanted to visit the SKYLON Revolving dining room, but we made a different choice. That evening, we chose to do a boat ride on the Hornblower right up to the Horseshoe Falls and the American Falls. And that ended with a spectacular fireworks display. What a perfect close to our bucket list trip. plan to be up close with those falls yet again. So even though they give you a plastic poncho to protect you from the onslaught of water, you'll get semi-soaked. If we had more time, I would have loved visiting the Niagara-on-the-Lake, a quaint town with wineries and charming shops. It's only about 30 minutes outside of the Niagara Falls area, and it sounds like it would have been a great addition to any trip if you have a bonus day. It just wasn't, sadly, part of our experience. During our time there, we discovered a fantastic hangout that overlooks the falls, Queen Victoria Place restaurant. On Sunday, on the last day we were there, we decided to break up our walk back to New York with a fun midway stop for cocktails before we walked back to the American side, caught an Uber, and headed back to Buffalo Airport. Best of all, no one seemed to care that we had our luggage in tow. So that's our whirlwind trip to Niagara Falls, guys. That was a Friday, Saturday, out on Sunday situation. We did a lot in a short period of time, but it was totally worth it. Remember to pack light, wear comfy shoes, and dress in layers. Sometimes it gets chilly in the evenings. And don't forget, the international vibe will be one of your favorite parts. Amazing how this beautiful landmark brings so many people from across the world together. That's it, folks. That's how we made our Niagara Falls experience so memorable. I would love to hear your input below. Was this helpful? And if so, please feel free to like and subscribe, and of course, share this video with someone that you would like to experience Niagara Falls with. And we are looking forward to being with you on many journeys ahead.